Are you ready to learn how to delegate tasks effectively with your assistant using ChatGPT? If this is your first time on my channel, my name is Lacaba. I run a virtual assistant agency here in the Philippines, 2XU, and I post videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home. So make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. When it comes to delegating tasks with your assistant, I've done a lot of videos of this as well. When you're new to it, basically it's a little bit new, it's a little bit weird, it's a little bit like, how do I actually do this? How do I make sure I'm taking care of my person as well as making sure that the thing that I need to get done actually gets done? So I'm going to walk you through the process of how I delegate tasks to my assistant, also using something called the WOAH method when it comes to delegating tasks. And I'll also include at the bottom in the description of the video a quick template that you can use for it. But I'm going to walk you through how to do that also with ChatGPT. When it comes to delegating tasks, I like using the WOAH method. So with the WOAH method is basically the W, the first W is the who and the what. So who is this task for? Like who is involved also in this task? So you might be delegating a task to your assistant that might just be like, hey, this is just for you. Or it could be like, hey, you're the main person, you're working with these 2 other people or 3 other people on this task. It gives a clarity of who is involved. On the what is what are the resources that they need to actually accomplish this? What are the things that they would need, like for example logins, or it might be a book or a course or anything else that again they will need to accomplish this specific task. The O is what is the outcome that you are looking for. This has to be measurable. This has to be what does success look like. How can your assistant tell if this task is already done? You know, how can you then tell if they did this right? So those are the main things. And then the last W is the why. Why is this important? This gives context when you are giving a task to your assistant of like, you know, why is this done? So, oh, it needs to get done for, you know, this project or for this outcome in the business or for this goal. Or, hey, I needed this to make my life a little bit easier. That's okay as long as you give context of the WOAH method, basically, that is giving the assistant all that they need to succeed. Now, later on, as you keep working with your assistant, if it's a repetitive task, they don't need the WOAH method for sure. This is mostly for giving and delegating new tasks that will help them, again, have the context and confidence to move forward without having to check on you a lot. Now, when it comes to then using the WOAH method with ChatGPT, this is what we'll go through in a little bit. So the first part is if you've never seen ChatGPT before, this is essentially what you will see. So on here, just the basics, we have what I like to call them threads, which is different types of other chats that I've used ChatGPT for. I always try to make sure that I use a new thread when it comes to a new topic. So for this one, I try starting when it comes to talking to ChatGPT basically with the WOAH method. Now I know it can be confusing. I just said wow and then now there's the WOAH method. I try to use this so it's easy to remember. So the WOAH method is basically when you are writing a new, you're starting with a new chat with ChatGPT. You want to give it the context, just like how you're giving context to your virtual assistant of what it is that you need. So the WOAH method is basically the W is still the same as the WOW, which is who are you? Who are you serving? What is your business about if you are an entrepreneur? And then the O is still the same. It's the outcome. What is the outcome that you need from ChatGPT? Why are you going to ChatGPT for this specific thing? The A is basically in are you ready? Like, are you ready? Do you understand what it is that I mean? And then the H is usually just a how. Now, I usually don't put the how right away, depending on what it is that you need. So for example, let's say you need it to be in a very concise format, if you need it to be in a certain voice, so you can say make this sound funny, make this sound professional, so on and so forth. So that's the H in the WOAH method. So showing you guys, so I already have prompts, and again this will be available in the description below. So I'm pasting it here. I run a virtual assistant agency, so the WHO, where we hire, manage, and grow executive assistants with a business operating system for service-based entrepreneurs. So I'm giving it just a quick pitch of like who I am, what I do, what my business is about, so then it has that context. And I put in the outcome is I need your expertise in delegating tasks to my virtual assistant. Are you ready? So hitting enter of that, you should say, yep, got you. It says, what specific questions or concerns do you have about delegating tasks to your assistant? So that's the first part of it, is introducing ourselves. Now, when it comes to delegating your task to an assistant, the first thing you're probably wondering is what can be delegated? So the first thing you're probably trying to figure out is finding the tasks that can be delegated. So again, I already have the prompts ready for you guys for that. So let me just copy that over. So I put here, what would be the first 5 tasks I should delegate to my assistant? Now, you can only do this because you've given it already the context above. So then you can do it below. So hitting enter on that, it says, sure, here are 5 tasks you consider delegating to your virtual assistant. Now, email management, calendar management, I've done videos on that, by the way, if you guys want to check out how to delegate those tasks. Social media, research, and admin tasks. So these are like, oh, okay, pretty good. If you want more than that, you can add, 10 tasks, 15 tasks. You can basically just edit the prompt that we've added based on how many you need. You can keep basically ask, what else? And it'll giving you like more tasks that you can delegate to your assistant. But basically, it's just a good way for you to just be aware of, based on your position, as you put in that you run a virtual assistant. For me, I run a virtual assistant agency. It will get basically the tasks as it knows into giving you that suggestion. So then for me, the next thing is then you want to go ahead and create the process of delegating the task to your assistant. So I would put in this prompt of what would be the best way for me to delegate these to my assistant. So since we've gotten 10, this might be a little bit of a longer response. This is why I kind of started with just 5. But then it will give you like just a walkthrough of kind of what I'm already giving you guys as a tip on how to do this. So we start with a clear job description, use task management tools, provide clear instructions, establish deadlines, communicate regularly, and provide feedback. So just giving you again that process of how you can do it. Next thing is we want to teach it the WOAH method. So the prompt basically for this, and let me just copy and paste it here, is that I'd like to introduce you to the WOAH method for me to delegate to my assistant. Are you ready? So what we'll actually do is we'll cut this here and just kind of make sure that it understands it's about to be taught something. So then I'm pasting it here, like WOAH method for delegation from 2XU is the W is the who and what outcome, and then the why. And then at the very end, I just ask it like, do you understand? Like so far based on this, you actually get. So there, it usually just will give you a little bit of a summary on the WOAH method as we've given it, just so it like repeats back. So then you can say, thank you, yes, you understand, so on and so forth. So you always want to be kind to ChatGPT, even though it is a bot. It actually, I've seen it so many times where for people who just use it crass and just use it as they need it, it's always helpful when you are polite to ChatGPT as well. So then I'll put thank you so much. And then the next thing is then we want to have ChatGPT start doing and using the WOAH method. So I put thank you so much, and I'll paste it here. Based on the WOAH method, write up a task description for my assistant to do. So I'm just adding here a very specific task. And this is a task that my assistant does take care of in my business at the moment. So right here, we'll have, thank you so much, based on the WOAH method, create a task description for onboarding clients. So here, so it's already writing out based on the WOAH. I can now just copy and paste this and give this to my assistant if she wasn't already doing it. She put the WOAH, this is a task for name of the assistant. They will need access to our customer support software as well as any relevant documents and resources related to our onboarding process. The outcome of this task is successfully onboarded clients within the time of days of receiving their information. This includes, so it just walks you through step by step. Again, you can copy and paste this and give it to your assistant, because then they can understand the context. Just, of course, edit the ones that are in brackets to make it make sense for your business. You can customize this. And of course, you can give ChatGPT the context of it, but then it's already giving you a way that you can easily delegate to your assistant. Super freaking cool. Okay, so then the next thing you can ask ChatGPT when it comes to delegating tasks is I can put here, what are other best practices I can do to make sure that these tasks are done? So you're just asking it for more information of like, now that I've given this task to my assistant, what are the best practices? So of course, kind of will repeat itself a little bit from above, but it will add a few things. So we have provide clear instructions, set expectations, establish regular check-ins, provide feedback, and then of course, foster open communication so you can have that back and forth. So it's just making sure that you have, okay, now I'm confident, I have what I need, I can now just give this to my assistant. Now, other steps that you want to take when it comes to delegating tasks to your assistant is connect it to a project or outcome. So I've said this before, of part of the WOAH method of the W at the Y is connecting it to the project or outcome. When you do this, when you're not just giving tasks to your assistant willy-nilly, you're giving them, hey, this is the context and this is the outcome that you're working towards. It gives them a little bit of idea and also gives them the freedom to take initiative because they know what the next steps are. They know what the ultimate outcome is. So for example, let's say I just gave onboarding to my assistant just that task. That's all that they know. But they don't know that before that there's the sales call, after that there's like delivery and all of that. Then they just miss the point. They just robotically will do the task without asking why or what it is for. So when you're connected, like, hey, can you learn how to onboard our clients? This will help us with our goal to be able to get to 50 clients within the next quarter, and then we want to be able to make sure that they feel taken care of right off the bat. So it gives them that context, and again gives them also the freedom to take initiative of thinking like, hey, what if we do this better? Or like, hey, I've noticed that whenever I onboard, I need this crucial information. Can we make sure that this is actually covered in, the previous step? So when you do that, you're empowering your assistant to think more because you're giving him or her the context. Next is to make sure that you track tasks that are delegated. So this is where having a really effective task list comes in. And I have a ton of videos here on my channel on how to create a very effective task list. I think the last video I just did on how to create a task list with ChatGPT. So you can use that, but having a way where everyone can see who is supposed to be in charge of what, especially if it's an outcome, will help you a lot when it comes to just keeping tabs, and kind of makes the need to check in with them just a little bit less because you already have a system where you can see where everything is at. Next is to make sure that, again, coming also from ChatGPT, but this is a piece of advice I've given before, is check in often. Check in often with your EA or your VA to just check in like, hey, how are you doing with the task? Is there anything that you need from me, or is there anything that you need, period? Because then this will free up your assistant's brain to be able to understand and know like, hey, I can ask for help if I'm stuck. I don't have to like ruminate this and make this just solely my problem. Yes, I'm taking responsibility, and with that, I need to ask for help. So when you just have those quick little check-ins, it could just be a chat, it could be a 10-minute call. But the point of it is that to kind of maximize those check-in points, to have that more open communication with your assistant. Next is make sure that you keep in mind to redirect as needed. And what redirect is basically, if you see them kind of swerving off, don't wait for them to fall off to the end of the road. Just kind of like, hey, let's get you back on track. Because then it's giving them quick feedback of what it is that they're supposed to be working on. Because sometimes when we're working on something really hard, we have kind of just a preconceived notion of what they should look like or what should it be. So when you are able to just kind of redirect your assistant to the right place very gently, very softly, then they know that they are on the right track or not. And of course, and this is very important when you're delegating tasks with your assistant, is to create a system. Is having your assistant create a static operating procedure at the very end. So the next time that this task has to be done again, it's already written down how to do it. So I'll walk you through how to do it ChatGPT. So we'll go through sharing screen again. So basically you can put in this prompt into ChatGPT of, can you write up the static operating procedure for the task? So I'm gonna remove the word the task because we already chosen one. So I wanted it to be very specific, but in for onboarding clients. So then again, I do recommend that whenever you're trying to create a document or documentation with ChatGPT, make it your own. So then it will write up basically an SOP for it already, but then you can have your assistant go in, make changes, make edits based on their experience of how they did this task. So then you now have the documentation for this moving forward. So it's easy for them to train it for someone else, easy for them to check if they're on the right path, because then they now have the documentation or the static operating procedure to be able to follow and go through and see, oh yeah, I almost missed this step. So then right there, we have the title, we have the objective, we have the scope, we have the procedure, we have the documentation and record keeping. And then again, I encourage that your assistant highly edits this and makes it customized for your business. And that is basically the step-by-step process of how you can effectively delegate tasks to your virtual assistant using ChatGPT. If you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there and comment below what other things from your day-to-day life would you want me to create a video on that you can use ChatGPT for. I would love to know. And if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so don't miss any of my videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home, which you guys can check out those two playlists right here and the latest video right here. Now, hope you guys have an amazing day. And remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!